Bro, shouldn't you be more upset?
Meh. It's the first time we've lost in like a month, so no.
Huh. Yeah, I guess that's just how it is.
Yep.
Is there any team that if you lost to them, you'd be pissed?
Regular season? Nah, not really. Even the teams I dislike, like, it just doesn't matter anymore. 19 games left, stay healthy, get to the playoffs.
Huh. What if it was Vegas?
Oh, dude, fuck Vegas.
Bro, that is what I'm saying.
Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team. That is not a dub. Not a dub. There are a million excuses as to why we lost this game or why we think we're better than the Oilers or all that yada, 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 yada. But at the end of the day, the Oilers absolutely deserve this win by capitalizing on us not playing the game. Not playing the game. We played it for 20 minutes, and then we didn't feel like playing anymore. There is one massive silver lining to a game like this after a 10-game winning streak. This game kicks off an absolute gauntlet. We are the gauntlet, but like there's a lesser gauntlet in front of us. Like we're the bigger gauntlet. And it's not a great way to start it, sure, but it's a really nice slap in the face. It's a really good slap in the face. We'll get into that, but sometimes you need these games because, yikes, there's some stuff in this one that just makes you go, fucking why? It's fine. We'll get there. The Oilers, we played them about 2 weeks ago, beat them 3-2. Gosh, I think 3-2, maybe 4-2. It was a score, 3-2. McDavid was terrifying in that game. McDavid was unbelievably passive in this game. And it wasn't all thanks to our layers. Like, portions of it were, but there were plenty of moments where you saw McDavid get the puck off his stick way too fast. Weird game from him. Anyway, I've talked a lot about teams like this being teams we are designed to beat. That doesn't mean you never lose to them. But I still fully believe that this is the exact type of team we are designed to beat, a team that we want to face in the playoffs. Again, everything I say is going to sound like a curse, but like eventually you do this long enough and you just got to talk about the shit. So I'm sorry I'm cursing us up and down all the time. But these high-octane offensive teams, we can shut down defensively. Swayman wasn't great, but he was good enough to win that game with the defense he had in front of him, if not for a couple terrible, awful mistakes. Still teams that I just feel like we are very, very well matched up against, but we'll talk more about that later. This is a totally different matchup than last time. The Oilers have Evander Kane back. They have Ekholm and Bjugstad in, which Bjugstad was huge for them. A monster at the dot, fantastic on the forecheck, just really, really great ad for them for their bottom six. But the biggest pieces being Kane coming back, Evander Kane coming back, and Ekholm being part of the defense, which he is very sound defensively. So they've improved. They've improved since our last meeting, and they got the better of us on this one. Now again, 10-0-0 in our last 10. We will drop this game, which means we will not have any clinching scenarios for the playoffs, which is still just kind of funny to say on game 63. Swayman is going to get the start. I am being told that there was a family thing that kept Olmark from starting tonight. That is what I'm being told. I don't want to get into details because I don't like doing that in general. But it wasn't something that he had to leave for it, but it was more of a distraction, and they just thought it better to go with Swayman. Hall and Foligno, of course, are still out of the lineup. God, what a difference they probably could have made in this one, just as far as more depth goes. Clifton is sitting. Grizz will go on the third pair. I know you guys want to have the Grizz conversation. We'll have the Grizz conversation, but that's going to be more towards the end. He's going to pair up with Forbort. All the other lines stay the same. Orlov, of course, up with McAvoy. I do want to point out, you're pretty dang good when a team like the Oilers beats us in regulation while we're home, which is just not something that we see very often this year. And the amount of people who tweeted Oilers and the eye emoji where the eyes are just like, that was a pretty common tweet. And some of them were serious. So you know you're pretty good when a team beats you once and everyone just goes, this team. We lost the Arizona Coyotes this year, guys. Just want to remind you all about that. Real quick, before we start talking about the game, thank you everybody who's been jumping in on the Short Shift podcast stuff and sharing it. We saw a really big spike this past month, which is awesome. So I appreciate anybody who's sharing that stuff. Thank you everyone who's jumping into the Discord, Twitter, all that good stuff. So I appreciate it. Let's talk about this. Like, comment, subscribe. Puck drops. This game, that got confusing. Puck drops! In the first 4 minutes are all Oilers. And the commentators are gushing about the Oilers and Marchand Berry's one. That's literally how it started. We are less than 4 minutes into the game. The Oilers are in our zone for almost the entire 4 minutes. One shot on net during that entire time because they're just hovering around the edges. But man, they're talking about how they're dominating us. And then we finally collect the puck in our zone. Carlos skates it up a little bit. And he's going to chuck it diagonally from the right wall, diagonally across the neutral zone, bounces off the left wall in their offensive zone, in our offensive zone, in their defensive zone. You get it. And Marchand is going to come into the left circle, collect that puck because he never gave up on that play while line changes were going on. And he is just going to whack this on net. You know, you can tell the difference between a player shooting the puck and a player getting the puck towards the net. And this was simply getting the puck towards the net. And it just squeaked through the blocker. And it's 1-0. Less than 4 minutes into the game. And everyone's shocked. Oh my God, the Oilers were dominating with their one shot on net through 4 minutes. How could this happen? Well, we're going to move on, but we could use a little luck like that every now and again. We love to have that. 12-13 left. A really dumb holding play by Hyman. We're going to go to the power play. 12 seconds into the power play. DeBrusk and Ekholm get mixed up. DeBrusk goes down. Looks like that he actually just got the wind knocked out of him, but he had to be helped to the bench. I don't know if you've ever gotten the wind knocked out of you, but it sucks, and it does kind of keel you over. Here's my issue with this. So no call on the play. And I saw a bunch of people, commentators included, that was incidental contact. That was an accident. Here's a picture of the moment that DeBrusk got hit. How the fuck is that not cross-checking? By the definition of it, just completely fells DeBrusk. I don't get it. Either way, we're going to move on. No dice on the remaining power play. DeBrusk does return, which was, I got real nervous, but we're fine. 7:57 left. Kane's going to go for holding. I'm surprised to see Lindholm fall from this little tug, but it is technically holding. It was just kind of a soft call, and I think Lindholm just got flat-footed. Typically, he wouldn't fall from something like this. But the second unit gets back into the zone after they clear the puck. They set up, and McAvoy and Lindholm play a little catch. Lindholm's up at the top of the slot, and McAvoy's down in that right circle. They go back and forth. McAvoy receives it. Everyone bites. He looks to the net. Everyone moves in. A lane opens up for a cross slot pass to Krejci, who goes knee down, fat clapper, beats Skinner, blocker side. And 34 seconds ago, we were offsides. So they review it, and they call it back for offsides. I've already said my piece on this multiple times. There's got to be, all right, if you don't make a defensive play in 20 seconds, it's over. It's over, right? Especially if you have control of the puck in your zone and then you turn it back over. There's got to be a time limit on these. 34 seconds, something like that? That's ridiculous. But either way, it's the rules, so I'm not going to begrudge it. It's back to 1-0. And no dice on the rest of the power play, which we go back to a minute and 30-something seconds on it. But it was not good. 4 minutes left. McAvoy loses the handle, and Fogle goes for a long breakaway. Swayman's positioning was fantastic. Fogle ends up shooting it wide, but he really had nowhere to go with it. Even if that was on net, that was a save all day by Sway. And with 0.3 seconds left of the period, Skinner misplays his puck. He's trying to clear it around the boards, but it's perfectly in the lane of Krejci to knock it down, settle it in the right corner, look up and see Pasta in the slot. Nice pass, Pasta buries it, squeaks through Skinner. Again, probably one Skinner wants to have back, but squeaks through him, glove side. It's 2-0, 0.3 seconds left on the clock. 2-0. That's your backbreaker. You played 20 minutes. We're going to go into the second period, obviously up 2 goals. You have just given them a backbreaker in the last 30 seconds, last second of the period. And we stopped playing. Not stopped playing defense, but there was no forecheck. There was no offensive aggression. There was no pushing the pace. There was no transition. Nothing. And I mean nothing for the next 30-ish minutes. Really. 9:16 left in the second period. We're dominating in the same way the Oilers were to start the game. We have the puck in their zone, and we're just moving it around. No one's actually getting in. No one's actually attacking, moving it around. And Marchand has a nifty move and dishes it off to Grizz on the right point. And Grizz just blows a tire, man. Just blows a tire, and it is a 4-on-1 the other way. Janmark to McLeod, to Bouchard, who has all day in the slot to pick his top corner, and he does. Not much Swayman can do about that one. It's going to be 2-1. And the difference between 2-0 and 2-1 cannot be over-explained. It's clearly like, oh, they're one shot out of it now. They just need one good bounce now. It didn't wake the team up. I'm not saying we didn't have any offensive zone time, but we just kind of played with it. And over. My next note, 5 minutes left of the period. This period was nothing. It was a nothing burger. 5 minutes left. Coyle, trying to get other players involved too much, passes up separated by like 40 seconds, 2 separate opportunities in the slot with a shooting lane. And he tries some pass. Each time, pass doesn't get to who he's passing to. Skinner let in 2 softies. Why'd you stop shooting? I didn't understand it. That's the end of the second. It's 2-1. And the commentators keep talking about, well, the Bruins don't lose when they're up after 2. The Bruins don't lose when they're up after 2. Shut the fuck up, please. Third period starts. 6 minutes in. Turnover by the Oilers. Greer gets to walk in on Skinner. Skinner makes a save. Big save. Whistle. Play goes back the other way after the faceoff. And another brutal mistake. Bergeron has the puck on our blue line. Tries to dish it back to McAvoy. Completely misses him by like a lot. Has to then chase. Collects the puck on the right wall. Tries to fling it up. It gets deflected. McAvoy whiffs on it. And it is collected by Shore. And he's going to come down behind the net. And right before he actually gets behind the net, he's going to chuck it up to McLeod, who buries this one in on Swayman. He goes low. It looked 5-hole-ish through a screen. And it's 2-2. The 2 goals against were completely self-inflicted. Just turnovers that, not even like, hey, man, we had a lot of pressure against us. We just turned it over. Brutal. Say it with me. Brutal. And it's just going to get worse. We're going to go to the penalty kill for a Bergeron holding. We hold him to 1 shot. Brilliant penalty kill. Very proud of that. And then 4:49 left. Darnell Nurse, who's on the left point. Yes, it gets through a screen, but he just flings this on the net, and it beats Swayman low glove. It's a screen. I try not to be too critical with stuff that I don't know a ton about. I'm not a great goaltender analyst, right? I think I'm decent, but I've never played the position at a high level in any way. You want him to have this one. Honestly, the second one wasn't amazing either, but it's a bad turnover that gets you flat-footed. I don't know. But this one just is from a long ways. You didn't get a great visual on it, but it just squeaks through you. It's tough. 3-2. That's going to be your final score. We, for the last 4 minutes, turn it the fuck on. We turn it on. We're in their zone. We have scoring opportunities. Can't seem to get one past Skinner. It just goes to show, man. It just goes to show this team has another level that sometimes they just don't go to, because you can't be at that level all the time. And that's one of the game notes, honestly. It's just too little, too late. You took your foot off the gas after 20 minutes, and it bit you in the ass. And that's your silver lining. Wake up, man. Like, no one cares about this game. I'm not mad at the team. I'm not upset about this. I fucking hate losing. But, come on. Come on. We're 10-1-0 in our last 11. It's fine. But this is a great reminder that you cannot get away with that. You simply can't. And I'd be surprised if we see that kind of play in the playoffs. But taking the foot off that early, I mean, Jesus. Really, really surprised to see that from this squad. I was just really surprised to see it. Let's have the Grizz conversation a little bit. So Grizz had a massive mistake, right? That led to a scoring chance and a goal, a 4-on-1. He blew a tire. We're all going to get over it. Structurally, I have been very much on the side of I want Grizz on the ice for game 1 of the playoffs. He can't be on his offside because he's not as good on his offside, right? But he also shines the most when he works with someone who's more sound defensively, which is Forbort by definition. But he does so well when he works with McAvoy or even Carlo. Like, those are pairings that work. And Forbort's a little too slow to keep up with Grizz's game, and the risks from Grizz's game are not something that Forbort's capable of shutting down. So you start to have that conversation. We have 19 more games to figure this out, but you start to have this conversation of, it might not be that Grizz is the worst defenseman out of the 7. It definitely isn't. But it might be that he simply doesn't fit. That might be the case. This is going to be something I'm going to have my eye on, and we're all going to have our eye on because we want to know what our roster is going to look like game 1. Grizz, I've kept saying, is he should be on that. He should be on that ice for game 1. Absolutely. Maybe the fit's not right. It's interesting. It's a really interesting thing to look at because if you're going to put him on Forbort's right, I don't know if that's a good fit. He did not have a good game in a lot of areas. A lot of areas. He was good in the first period for a good portion of it. And then after that, like a lot of the team, just not good enough. So that's something that I want to keep my eye on. I am not, some of you are very much out on Grizz. I get that. I am not one of those people. I think Grizz is a top 4 defenseman in the right situation because he's not a superstar. And you'll look around the league. Please don't make this mistake. Look around the league and see people playing in top 4 positions. 50% of them are in their top 4 defensemen in the right situation. I just want to make that very clear. That you can take a top 4 guy from one team, put him on your team, and it doesn't work because the situation is not the same. It's not right. And all of a sudden you're like, how the fuck is this guy a top 4 guy? Winnipeg, Forbort was a top 4 guy in Winnipeg. He is not a top 4 guy on this team. They're just different situations. Grizz is a top 4 defenseman in the right situation. We might not have that situation available for him anymore. We'll see. Still a lot of time to figure that out. This weekend is a back-to-back with Detroit. I do work Saturday, so bear with me on that. If you're still listening at least, because we're getting kind of late in the video. That's it. That's it. Go Beast. Go Beast!